The fate of Rome and Carthage was sealed in a series of brutal wars. Today, we dive into the Punic Wars, betrayal, strategy, and the rise of an empire. Let's explore how Rome's greatest rival was defeated. It all started when Rome and Carthage, two rising powers, collided in the First Punic War. It was the battle for dominance over the Mediterranean, but neither side was ready for what was to come. Rome, relatively new to naval warfare, had to innovate fast. With their land army expertise, they quickly adapted, building a fleet of ships and forcing Carthage into a brutal naval conflict. Carthage, the masters of the sea, had an incredible advantage, but Rome, with its resilience, refused to back down. After a series of bloody sea battles, Rome eventually forced Carthage to the negotiation table, and at the end of it all, Carthage was left with no choice but to sign a peace treaty and pay a massive indemnity of 3,200 talents, a huge burden for a city-state already weakened by war. But Carthage was not done yet. After the First Punic War, it spent years recovering, rebuilding its power and its military, and then Hamilcar Barca set his sights on revenge, but it was his son, Hannibal, who would take the lead. This is where the real drama of the Second Punic War unfolds. Hannibal's daring march, leading 40,000 soldiers and war elephants across the Alps, remains one of the most jaw-dropping feats in military history. Imagine the impossible odds: freezing weather, rough terrain, and an army already exhausted from the march. And yet, Hannibal didn't just survive, he thrived. The Battle of Cannae, where he crushed a much larger Roman force, is still studied in military academies to this day. Rome, battered and bruised, had never faced such a masterful general. But even as Hannibal crushed Roman armies, he failed to capture Rome itself, the heart of the empire. Rome's ability to adapt, rebuild, and keep fighting was its greatest strength. Despite all his victories, Hannibal could not break Rome's will. In the end, it was the Roman general Scipio Africanus who defeated Hannibal at the Battle of Zama in 202 BC. Rome won the war and forced Carthage to pay an even larger indemnity, 10,000 talents, a massive financial blow that left Carthage on the edge of collapse. For years, Rome and Carthage seemed to be on the brink of war again, but it wasn't until the 140s BC that the final chapter of this epic struggle was written. Rome, still wary of Carthage's growing recovery, demanded that Carthage completely disarm. Carthage, unable to survive such humiliation, declared war. The Third Punic War was a war of total annihilation. Rome wasn't looking for peace. They wanted Carthage gone. After a 3-year siege, Carthage's defenses crumbled. The city was completely destroyed. Not a single building was left standing, and its population was either killed or sold into slavery. The Roman Senate declared that Carthage would never rise again. By 146 BC, the once mighty Carthage was a memory, a cautionary tale of a city that had dared to defy Rome. And as the Romans marched through the ashes, the great Cato the Elder ended every speech with a chilling phrase: "Carthage must be destroyed." And indeed it was. The Punic Wars had changed the course of history. For Rome, it was the moment they cemented themselves as the dominant power in the Mediterranean. But for Carthage, it was a tragic end, a great civilization crushed under the weight of Rome's ambition. The indemnities Rome forced on Carthage drained its economy, leading to the collapse of its power. By the time the Third Punic War ended, Carthage was gone, but Rome's power was unshakable. For the Romans, their victory over Carthage wasn't just a military triumph, it was the end of an era of vulnerability. And while the Carthaginian oath to destroy Rome may have inspired Hannibal's father, it was Rome's resilience and unyielding will that secured their victory. If you enjoyed this journey through history, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and give this video a like. Let's keep exploring the past together. Your support helps this channel grow. Thanks for being part of the history. See you in the next one.